Hey, what's going on, you guys? This is your boy 3 Stacks and this thing representing my squad. Today we're going to be going over an update for my pure Crystron list. This list is different from the other one. The other one was a lot more hand trap heavy. I'm just playing pure this time, just combo eccentric. The deck is a headache to learn and to grasp. It's never really been easy. But I was definitely up for the task of learning how to play this deck. And man, once you learn it, you start to question, like, why don't people play this deck? I still ask that to myself. Like, a lot of the decks that I think are good and that I love, and not only do I love them because of how they operate, but I love the ceiling of the deck, and I love how they have that surprise factor and how they can actually really do good against meta decks. I think, why don't people play them? Like, why? But anyways, this is my Crystron list, you guys. Like I said, it's really different from the other one. The other one played like 18 hand traps. And it was just like solely for going second. This is a going first combo build. So let's go. We're starting off with the starter cards. We have 3 Undines. Undine is a 1-card combo in virtually every deck you play it in, especially Mermails. When we get our Needle Fiber, ooh, what's in there? Once we get our Needle Fiber, this is going to be an even more busted 1-card combo than it already is. The card's just insane. It's already a +2. Once you resolve it, getting 2 searches is really, really good. In addition to that, we do play 3 Math Mans. While Math Man's not as good as Undine, it serves just as much as a purpose. You can circumvent for a lot of different weaknesses in this deck just by having normal summons like these to start off. And them being level 3s actually matters. You have 2-card combos, 1-card combos. Deck's really powerful and explosive when it sets up. We have 2 Scrap Recyclers. I have the 3rd one coming very soon in the mail. Scrap Recycler, like Undine, is better than Mathman because it doesn't send a specific level, it just dumps a machine. And all of your Crystrons are machines. Then we have 1 Gen X Controller. You absolutely need to play this card, especially when Needle Fiber comes out, having that 1-card combo. Normal Undine, dump Rosenix. Rosenix, bring the token out, make Link Spider, special this. Go into your Crystron Needle Fiber. Just go bananas after that. So you have your 8 normal summons that all basically start up your combos. For more starters, we play 3 copies of Sulfefinir. Sulfefinir is so good in this deck. Once you get 1 engraved, you generate a lot of advantage every single turn consistently. Because of this card's ability, you're able to make turn 1 synchros without being under the restriction of only machines. And you can even make your Miss Starboy turn 1. You use your turtle to extend your plays a little bit. Special, use this effect, pop, and then you go under the restriction of summoning only machines after you've made your Starboy or after you've made the appropriate synchro. It's really good for going second, especially. Sulfefinir is just such a great Crystron. It really is, in my opinion, the best Crystron because of all the advantage that it gets you. The board presence, the ability to get either a tuner or a non-tuner. It gives you the options, and it doesn't put you under restriction, and it floats. It's just such a good card. We have 3 copies of Crystron Disfern. Every Crystron has the same first effect. They all can target face-up cards on the field, destroy them, and summon their tuners from the deck. They can even target themselves, so they're all 1-card combos, just like every Zodiac monster is. Every Crystron monster is a 1-card combo. You have 1 and 2-card combos, no 3, 4, 5, nothing like that. Very simple. Just the ratio, you know, the number of combos. It's always just 1 and 2-card combos. Very consistent. You think of how many ways you have to get to the Crystrons. Like, all of those are 1-card combos. And then your Sulfefinir, all of your Sulfefinir plays are 2-card combos because you need Sulfefinir and just a Crystron card to discard. But those are pretty much the only like necessities for your combos to get set up. Then we have 3 copies of Smiger. Other than the first effects, Disfern and Smiger, all the Crystrons have graveyard effects, and you banish them for cost. For Disfern, you banish him and you add a Crystron monster from your deck to your hand. For Smiger, you banish him and add a Crystron spell or trap. We still have not got our spell yet, but because he says spell or trap, I would assume that in the near future, hopefully we do end up getting a spell. But if not, that's fine, because Impact, you guys, is broken. We have 3 parts of turtle. My homeboy Esteban, I love turtles. In fact, I have a pet turtle who's like a 1.5 years old. Raised him since he was a baby. I look at this guy and I think about my baby Esteban. This is my baby. He's a really, really good combo extender. In fact, that is what he is. He's not really a starter He's definitely an extender always. He's an in-between play. And it's so important. His level matters so much. Being able to pop him and summon Citree. So you can go Citree and special him. And you go into your Quandax so that you can make your Black Rose on your opponent's turn. Trishula on your opponent's turn. Whichever synchro that you're able to make to disrupt your opponent's plays. Even if it's just a Don Dragster. To provide that negation for spells or traps. Depending if the matchup is good enough. But Triple Turtle, absolutely hand down. Really good card. Especially when you're using your Sulfefenir plays to go into your synchros that are not, you know, like your generic synchros that are not like machines. Like if you want to go like a turn 1 Black Rose, if you're going second, clear the board, and then use Turtle, special a Crystron from hand, use that effect, pop itself, summon one of your tuners, and get basically a follow-up. Black Rose plus a follow-up is really good when you consider that this deck is not meta, right? It's just really, really awesome. We have 2 Rosenix. This card is an 18 beater, which is relevant. It does matter. But it has the absolute most awkward level of all the Crystrons. It is a level 4. It doesn't synergize very well with Citree, but once you banish it, it synergizes extremely well with Rion because you're able to go into your level 7s just off of 1 Rion. So once you've banished it, use this effect to generate your free token. You could pretty much just go Rion into Don Dragster. Which is probably the best machine that's level 7 that you can make on your opponent's turn at the moment. Depending on how things are shaping, you might want to go Destroyer. Just, you know, to get that floating effect so that you won't die that turn. But for the most part, you're going Don Dragster. But it is the most awkward level ever. Like, it really is. Like, I wish they would have made this card level 3, but it makes sense how they gave them levels 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. It definitely makes sense because this is a synchro deck and your levels matter. So that sums up the Crystrons that are not tuners. You have 3, 6, 9, 12, 14 of them. And the other 11 are actually just like 1-card combos. Rosenix is the most awkward 1-card combo, honestly. But again, you know, they all set themselves up relatively easy. And you don't really need a whole lot going. You can have 4 horrible cards in your hand as long as you have like a Sulfefenir or any of the non-tuner Crystrons. You still have plays to make. So the deck doesn't really ever break. Because not only do you have those 14, but you still have your 8 other normal summons that all start your combos up. So you have like 21 really relevant combo pieces. I'm sorry, 22 in fact. And then for our tuners, we do play 3 Citrees. And I also personally play 3 Rions. You never want to draw these. The important thing about playing 3 Rions is there's a turn 1 play that you can do if you're going second, where you can make Carry On Quandrax, you use your Sulfefenir, and you end up special summoning a Rion off Sulfefenir, and you summon another Rion via a Crystron effect. You use those 2 plus the Scrap Recycler, or the Mathman, or the Undyne, and the levels add up to 9, and you're using 2 tuners and 1 non-tuner to make this card turn 1. Whenever you need to, because it's really good to help you to break a board, just so that you have a fair chance at playing after that, because if you can't break the board, you probably can't play. So it really helps out a lot. And just for that that reason alone, that's why I play the 3rd Rion. Because once those 2 are used, 1 Rion can recycle itself endlessly. But it's the fact that you need 2 for that play. And that play is extremely relevant. In fact, it's not always the Carry On Quandax itself. But you definitely need to play the 3rd Rion. Because, like, if you use the 2 for that play, which it comes up a lot more than you think, and you lose Rion completely, you lose that level 3 tuner that you can cycle through your deck, which means you actually lose a whole different line of plays for your deck. So you absolutely should maximize on all of these 6 of the tuners. We play some field spells in this build. This build is a little different, but I decided to go back to how I originally was playing Crystrons. So you play 2 Starlight Junctions and 1 Crystallic Potential. There's a field spell called Cynet Universe. It came in the Cyburst structure deck. The very first Link monsters that came out in there were Decode, Honeybot, and Link Spider. I want to play that field spell in my my current build. I think it's super spicy. All the Crystron spot face-up cards, and I want to use that as a terraforming target to just normal a Crystron, pop it, send the monsters in the extra zones, in the extra monster zones to the grave, special my tuner from deck, and then I can synchro. So as long as it's like a beta Trigate, I can break the extra link, and I'll have 2 extra monster zones afforded so I can go into either one and make my synchro plays. So I find that that's spicy, and I know that nobody's like tried that in Crystron's or even thought of it before. So I really wanted to share that. I think that that Sign That Universe field spell is really good in Crystron's. But what your junction does is the only effect that you can actually use is when you synchro during your opponent's turn, you can shuffle a card from the field into the deck. That's actually really good disruption. That's why I play 2 of it. I like it a lot. And then I also play 1 Crystallic Potential just to have that other option for a field spell. All your Crystrons gain 300 attack and defense. I think it's just 300. Yeah, it's a little increment, but it adds up sometimes. That's not really that relevant. But you also get to draw cards during the end phase based on the amount of Crystron synchros that you special summon this turn, or that you synchro summon this turn. So when you're using this on your opponent's turn, you're able to out-resource them. Out-resource them being you're going to draw 2 to 3 cards after you've already stunned their plays. And when Needle Fiber comes out, once we get Needle Fiber, this card is going to become infinitely better because you're going to be able to spam a lot more synchros in one turn, whether it's your turn or your opponent's. So you're going to be able to draw and dig through your deck even deeper. But I do play these. Like I said, if I had to Sign That Universe, which I don't know why I don't have it because it's like a 10-cent card, I'd definitely be playing it. And in tandem with the 2 field spells, I do play 2 Terraformings because either one of these field spells really do help me. This one progresses my game state while this one's a lot more reactive, allowing me to stun my opponent. And also it grants me that ability to get rid of cards that are threatening, because Crystrons really don't have like beaters all the time. And when there's a large monster on the field or a monster that can be destroyed by card effects, sometimes it requires a lot more resources just to get rid of it, because you have to go on a card like Carry On Quandax or Trishula, or you know, like if it can be destroyed, then you Black Rose it. But the thing is, like, those plays don't require, you know, like no cards at all. Like they require resources that you have to waste. And I find that if I'm using resources to like clear my opponent's stuff, like I feel like sometimes it's a waste, when I'd much rather summon my Crystron synchros who float when they get destroyed, so I can get that kind of longevity play going for myself. So being able to use the junction to shuffle cards, any cards in fact, is really good. So you have these 5. And I'm sorry you guys, my voice is kind of hoarse. Then I've been doing videos all day, man. Then we have 2 different dimension Deep Sea Trench, the absolute best combo extender in the archetype. Even though it's not Crystron based, this is better in Crystron's than it is in any other deck. It's literally like all it does is overextend. Like there's one thing when you're just going balls deep in your plays and you're kind of just setting yourself up really nice, but overextending is just like almost like this card does too much. And it's not like you're overcommitting. It's not like you're being greedy. It's not like you're spitting your whole hand out. It's just like, oh my gosh, how do you even do this? Like, it's crazy, man. The plays that you can make off of Trench are insanity. Even when you're able to banish your Quandax, if you need to banish your Quandax, you can banish your Quandax and then resummon it. Because what you want to do is activate this, banish a water monster from your hand or grave on resolution, and then you use your Crystrons, your Sulfafenir, or any of your Crystrons, pop it, and then you get a lot of combos to go off after that. You're even able to resummon your Matrix to the main monster zone, just like get some really good setups for yourself. It's an amazing card. It makes your board so spot on. And we do play 1 Foolish Burial. It's so great in this deck because everything has graveyard effects that are all the Crystrons in the main deck that aren't tuners. They have amazing grave effects. So Fefnir has a grave effect. This Fern, Rosenix, Turtle, you know, Smiger, all of them, they all have great grave effects. So Foolish is just utility for the deck. And then for our traps, we still play the 3 impacts because this card is just so good for the grinds. In addition to that, it allows you to make better Quandax plays. Like when you open Quandax, like if you've done your Scrap Recycler play or your Undyne or your Mathman, you're still normally able to end on Quandax plus them. So you're able to go into a level 7 being Black Rose or Don Dragster. It's always nice to add an impact to that, because impact gives you the option to just not be restricted to only Black Rose, but now you can go to Trishula, you can go into Carry On Quandax. It's really easy. You're able to go into better disruptors. Sometimes like those are better disruptors depending on the matchup. But for the most part, a Black Rose during your opponent's turn is more than enough for most decks. Especially like set 5 pass turn decks. They automatically lose all of their advantage. And then the new spicy tech that I'm playing is actually the 1-of entry. It is archetypal based, but a lot of Crystron players don't run it, and I think for good reason. But I actually like this card because, like Deep Sea Trench, it is another combo extension. It summons your Quandax from grave, the level 4 tuner. That's a synchro, and it specials a tuner from your hand. You're never really going to summon Cetri or Rion from the grave off this, but you can. But you're normally summoning a Cetri or a Rion from your hand, and then you're always trying to use this to summon your Quandax from the grave, and you get a huge play off of this one trap resolving. And I mean a huge play that you can make. You can summon anything from your extra deck when you resolve this card. And I find that that alone is so incredibly powerful. That's why I decided to just put it in. The deck was originally 40 cards. I didn't want to take anything out for this. If you want, you could just take out one of the field spells, one of Terraforms. It doesn't really matter, but I just wanted to add this to my deck because I think it increases my ceiling a lot more than it's supposed to. And it also has a really good graveyard effect for modulating levels to going into better synchros. And it Foolish Burials your Crystron. So it does pay for itself after you resolve it and it goes to the grave. Really good card. Main deck, like I said, is 41 cards. Our extra is Carry On Quandax. Oh my gosh, this card is so good. I actually want to play 2 of it. It's really amazing. Such a good card. It banishes up to 3 monsters on the field or in the grave. And if it's destroyed, you get to special summon a banished monster from either player's banished zone. So the really cool thing about this is you can steal your opponent's monsters, setting yourself up to get them just by banishing their monsters, and then normally Crystron popping this and getting it. Like I stole an Ultimate Conductor when I took this deck to the locals that I ran when I was running a going second build with the impermanences and evenlies and all the hand traps. You guys have seen that build. It's already on my channel. I Carry On Quandax in his battle phase. Because he activated Conductor, I chained to Synchro. I ended up summoning this guy, and then the Conductor resolved, but his effect did not miss timing because it's an if and not a when, and it's if it's Synchro summoned. So because he got to get Synchro summoned, I still got to resolve his effect. I banished Conductor, things like that. Banished his whole field really, and then I normaled up Crystron on the follow up, popped him, and then summoned the Conductor that I banished. It's such an incredible effect. Really good card. We have Phoenix. Phoenix banishes all spells and traps from your opponent's field and graveyard. It's when you resolve it against certain decks like Altergeist and Paleos, you normally do win the duel, but it depends because if you're not able to get a follow-up or OTK, then you give them a chance to come back on you. A Matrix. A Matrix is really good as well. It's good for stalling. It's a solid play to make in the middle of your opponent's turn. Depending on how their board is, because if it's links, you can't really use its effect, but in addition to that, it does complement the Crystron impact. We play the 2 Quandax. Quandax is the level 4 tuner synchro monster that allows you to make better synchros that are generic. It doesn't restrict you to only machines. It's a really good 2 of. I don't want to play 3, but I definitely would never play 1. It's a great card. It's just a formula synchron on legs. If any of your Crystron monsters, synchro monsters are destroyed, they all float. This one's a monster reborn for graveyards. This one's a monster reborn for the banished zone. And these only revive Crystrons if destroyed. Then we have double Black Rose and double Don Dragster for the plays to make on your opponent's turn. These are the most frequently gone into. That's why I play 2 of each because I go into them a lot. Normally, even when you resolve 1 of each, you still end up finding yourself needing to go into the second. Whether it's the second Black Rose or the second Don Dragster, that's why I play 2 of each. They're kind of part of the competitive edge of the deck. When you're able to synchro during your opponent's turn, you want to play some of the most detrimental of all of them. And then Trishula is just so good because it doesn't target and it doesn't destroy. It's able to grip one from my opponent's hand, which is important as well. Hitting graveyards, oh my goodness, just so good, especially making it on your opponent's turn. We have Vermilion Dragon Mech. I was using this before to add Ash Blossoms back, but I normally just use this to have spot removal because Crystrons don't have the ability to pop cards on the field. So it's always nice to be able to make a card like this if you just need to clear something out of your way, whether it's a back row or a monster that's just really been getting on your nerves. We have Samurai Destroyer. Such a good card. If you play ABCs, you know what's up. This card is really awesome. And then we have One Powered Inzektron. This card helps you in the end of match procedures. You make this and you pretty much, if your life points are higher, you've already won this duel. This card cannot be destroyed by card effects or battle. And then also you take no damage that turn. Battle or effect damage, you don't take any. And to sum up the extra deck, we do play the one Miss Starboy. Miss Starboy helps you a lot because this deck really needs to OTKs often. And the problem is because I don't have high speed board Champ Barbara, that level 5 machine synchro, it's really hard for me to OTK without it. If I had it, oh my gosh, you could just cut Miss Starboy. You don't really need them. If you have an issue with clogging your extra monster zone, you really don't know how to play Crystrons because they always clear their extra monster zone. All of their effects pop. You just pop one of your synchros, clear your extra monster zone. And it's really good when you pop your Crystron synchros because you get to summon from the deck and then summon from the grave. So you never have an issue with, oh, I have my extra monster zone clogged. That's never an issue in Crystrons. You literally play them in Starboy just so that you can OTK, and that's pretty much it. But yeah, you guys, that concludes my Crystron deck profile. I do hope that you enjoyed it. Definitely let me know your honest opinion and feedback on how you feel this deck is, whether it's good or bad, even if you say it's trash. I mean, like, honestly, you're entitled to your opinion, and I'm not a sensitive guy. And thank you guys again. I'm sorry about my voice. It's very hoarse because I've been doing this all day. I actually had a lot of free time today, and I got a lot of work done today. Even though I'm probably going to end up uploading on a different day because I'm really tired right now. But again, God bless you guys. You have a wonderful night, and you will be hearing from me soon. Peace.